boys and girls. I'm super excited to be back to read another chapter from Junie B. First grader Cheater Pants, Chapter 7, Pallies. If you remember in the last chapter, they're about to make a poem, and they decided together to write a poem called Pallies. And remember, Pallies is the long way to say pals, I guess, that Junie B. Jones came up with. And we know that pals is another way to say friends. We worked on our poems for the whole entire morning, almost. And Mr. Scary was right. Sharing ideas did help spark our imaginations. Plus, all of us got to add our own special words to our poem. And that is called good teamwork. After we got done, I printed out our poem on a clean piece of paper. Lenny and Jose and Herb watched me real careful. I am an excellent printer, I told them. I can print with the best of them. Pretty soon, all the other children in room 1 finished their poems too. And good news, Mr. Scary said there was time to read some of our poems to the class. Lucille didn't wait to get called on. She ran right to the front of the room, and she made squinty eyes at Camille and Chenille. I wanted to write my poem with 2 girls in my group, but all they wanted to do was write about twins, twins, twins. Remember, Camille and Chenille are twins. She looked at them some more. The whole world is not just about you two, you know, she grouched. After that, she fluffed her lacy dress and she read her poem. Me, Richie, Lucille, shopping, buying, spending. Everyone's jealous of myself, Princess. After she was finished, Mr. Scary sat there for a second. Then he smiled and nodded. Good, Lucille, yes, excellent, he said. That poem really does say it all, doesn't it? Lucille nodded, yes. It does. Then she did another mean look at the twins, and she sat back down. After that, May didn't wait to be called on either. She ran to the front of the room, just like Lucille, and she hollered her poem out real loud. Tin can, can. I had perfect hearing, and Mr. Scary told me it was tin can. He did, he really did. Mr. Scary rubbed his chin. Yes, well, there certainly was an interesting poem idea, May, but it didn't quite really follow the rules of a sin cane, did it? He said. You mean tin can, she said. Mr. Scary did a sigh. He got up from his desk and he walked May back to her seat. After that, there was time for one more poem. Our group waved our hands all around in the air. We have a good one, hollered Jose. Yes, a really good one, yelled Lenny. Mr. Scary nodded at us, and so all of us jumped up and we stood in our group and we read our poem with all of our voices. Pallies, chummy, happy, joking, gelling, sharing. 4 amigos all together, friendship. There's Junie B. Jones and her friends reading their poem together. That's the end of the chapter. Well, that's a pretty short chapter, so why not one more? Chapter 8, A plus us. A plus. We got an A plus on our poem. Mr. Scary came right back to our desk. He took out his red pencil and he wrote A plus on the top of our paper. What a wonderful poem you guys wrote, he said. I loved that. We jumped and clapped for ourselves. It was the funnest morning I ever saw. And that's not all, because lunch and recess kept on being fun too. On account of when 4 friends are in happy moods, life is a joy, I tell you. After recess, I hurried back to room 1, because I couldn't wait to see what our happy assignment we would do next. I skipped in the room and looked at the board. Then boom, I came to a screechy stop. On account of what was on the board had 2 terrible words on it. It said spelling test. I almost forgot about that thing. The test was supposed to be last Friday, and then it got put off till today. And so how was I even supposed to remember that last night? Because I was worried about my note, of course. My legs felt weakish and limpish. Very slow, I dragged my feet back to my seat. The desk were back to normal again. Herb was already sitting down. He turned around and looked at me. What's wrong, Junie B? He asked. Don't you feel good? I laid my head on my desk. I forgot to study my spelling words last night, and now I'm going to be in trouble with Mother and Daddy again. I didn't whine. This is the whole problem with this school, I said. 1 minute you're joyful and happy, and the next minute the joy gets flushed right out of you. Herb tried to make me feel better. Don't worry, most of the words are easy this week, he said. Then he paused for a second. Sort of easy. I did another whine, because what does sort of means not really, right? In the front of the room, Mr. Scary was passing out the paper. Is everyone ready for our spelling test this week? He winked. Some of you had 4 extra nights to study. I'm sure everyone will get a perfect grade, right? My stomach turned into a nutball at that comment. Pretty soon the test began. Mr. Scary pronounced the first spelling word, and he used it in a sentence. Fox, he said. The fox is running through the woods. Fox. I perked up a little bit, because I know how to spell fox, of course. I printed it very neat on my paper. F-O-X. The next word is box, said Mr. Scary. I keep all my toys in a box. Box. I sat up even perkier, because box is easy as fox. B-O-X. Mr. Scary smiled. The next word is would, he said. I would like all of you to do well in this test. Would. Just then, I stopped perking, because sometimes I get mixed up on that one. I wrote down some letters. W-O-O-D. Then I crossed them out. On account of that's the wrong kind of wood. That's a tree wood. I tried again. W-O-U-D. And I shook my head. That didn't look right either. Finally, I covered my face and I did a groan. Shh, said May. Herb started to turn around to see what was the matter. Then he quick stopped himself because there's no turning around during a test, of course. Then I looked at what I wrote some more, and I strained my brain to try to remember how to spell it, only nothing came to me. Finally, I did another groan. And that's when a miracle happened. My friend Herbert came to the rescue. First, he shifted a teensy bit of his chair. Then he moved his test paper to where I could see it, and he pointed to the word with his finger. My mouth came open at that lovely gesture, because I didn't ask him to do it. Herb just gave the word to me. Uh-oh. What do you guys think about that? Herb's just giving her the spelling word. Uh-oh. Like a gift. I stretched my neck better to see it. And yay, as soon as I saw the word, my imagination got sparkled, and I remembered the letter L. Perfectly good. I quick wrote it down on my paper. It was just in time. Mr. Scary was already on the next word. Peek, he said. I saw you peek. Peek. Uh-oh. Just then I sat my seat very still, and I did a gulp, because I really thought he saw me peek, that's why. Only good news. I was wrong. He didn't see me peek. He didn't. And besides, what I did this time wasn't even bad. Probably. Because Herb shared the word with me, just like we shared words for our poem. Finally, I did a little sigh, and I wrote peek on my paper. After that, I took the rest of the spelling test very perfect. And I put what happened right out of my brain. Well, sort of. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen next. So, what do you think? Should Junie B. Jones have looked on his paper and copied that word? What's going to happen if Mom and Dad and Mr. Scary find out? We'll have to wait to the next chapter tomorrow to find out. Love you all so much. Sending out big virtual hugs, and I'll see you all real soon.